Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to our weekly show, Top 8, where we break down this week's biggest stories in the world of movies. And who is joining me? Who do you think's joining me? It's the boys, Connor.
Hello.
And Benny.
Hello. It really is the biggest news stories of the week this week.
Oh man, get ready.
Strap in.
Coming at you like a flannel.
I think we it's like a flannel.
Like a ray.
Any Mighty Boosh fans out
may
there?
have like overhyped how devoid of news it was.
Don't play. This is good. This is a jam-packed episode, and shit went down this week.
All right. Well, first of all, because apparently you're not doing it.
You just hijacked it.
And I was like, well, if you'd like to actually do it, I'm just staring at you, waiting for you to go.
I saw you about to jump in the news. You're like, wait, fuck, we got that other bit that we do before that. No, it's good.
You and me watched Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched that earlier this week. I think that was second time viewing for you.
Yeah.
First time viewing for me.
Yeah.
I thought that it was a really cool concept, a very cool start. Even the middle was really entertaining. I'm not sure how I feel about the ending. And you kind of prepared me for that. You basically said this is where shit gets weird.
Yeah. And gave you a massive wink.
Yeah. I felt like it was two distinctly different films. Like the beginning was very much a horror film with some, a bit of originality, and the end was very much a Del Toro. Kind of Pan's
I felt
Labyrinth
like
ending.
even more so it was less of a horror film watching it this time.
Yeah.
I felt it was more of a Del Toro-y kind of
I would have kind of enjoyed it
fantasy rather than a horror film.
If the beginning and the middle felt a little bit more like that to me, then I think I would have enjoyed it more. Like the ending wouldn't have seemed so kind of out of left field.
Yep.
We watched that. I did enjoy it. The other thing I've been watching this week is The Office, the UK version.
Nice.
I've seen like clips and an episode here and there, but I've never sat down and watched it from beginning to end. And that's, it's been on my list for ages.
How is it a tough watch?
Well, because when you start
you
that,
can only cringe so much before your skin starts going.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think, and I said to you when you told me you'd watched it, I was like, it's one of those shows that gets better every time.
I feel like that's the case.
The humor kind of marinades with you, and you get what they're going for.
Well, yeah, and I kind of pushed through it in the first episode or two because I was like, this is super cringy. It's not usually my jam. But by the end, I was absolutely in love with the series. I think it blows the American version out of the water.
Oh, big time.
And you
don't even need to say that.
But I always think it's a bit boo-hiss when people are like, no, the American version's better, or the UK version's better, of like any show.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a different humor. It's for a different audience.
Except
Shut the fuck
when
up.
it's true.
But I just think like, I thought it was
Have you watched through the American version?
Not the entire thing. I think I made it through the
No,
first
you haven't.
4.
So we're just gonna declare that it's the inferior one.
Yeah. But I love how it was, and this is a kind of a staple of UK TV shows. It wasn't too long. It had its little moment, and then it ended.
Yeah, 12 episodes.
And I love that about those kind of shows.
Me too.
They don't continue
Fawlty
on.
Towers, The Office, Black Books. I kind of hold those up as
Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh might be coming back though.
Maybe.
That's it. Maybe we should have put that in. Benny, what have you been watching?
So I didn't watch Mama this week. I'll have my own movie night. So
you were at work, so fuck you.
Yeah,
pull that shit on me live on air.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I barely saw anything this week. I've been catching up with Fargo and American Gods, both of which are amazing. I don't know how many times I have to say it till you guys watch this shit. It's fine.
I keep letting you down on so many levels.
I had to watch The Office. It was closer on the list.
In Fargo, there's one episode left, and it's just this is one of those shows. Every episode ends. I'm just like, give me the next one right now.
Yeah.
I can't wait. David Thewlis has made up for Wonder Woman spectacularly. He's the greatest villain ever.
He's a villain.
Whatever, but
cool.
he's so hardcore.
Bad.
Other than that, I've just been neck deep in my Tetris addiction. Got
Tetris.
Tetris. I'm a hardcore Tetris player. It's coming back with a vengeance. I got a nice score of 2 million the other day, but
Holy shit.
I spent an hour and 20 minutes playing. It's fine. That was one game. Anyway, that's
crap.
why I haven't watched much else this week.
Wow.
The
You must
news, I
have
think.
been wired by the end of that session, like just seeing blocks
Yeah,
everywhere.
you close your eyes and it's just blocks. It's good. You're always
Do you
winning.
keep the
though.
music
Yeah.
on or off?
I have the music off. You can't listen to that for 2 hours.
Come on,
It's-
man. You're not a true Tetris side.
only the Russians can
A
actually play
Tetriti.
it that way.
I imagine just coming into your apartment and all like the furniture's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all
exactly.
slotted
Carefully,
together.
yeah. I'm like, it hasn't disappeared yet. Something's wrong.
You know what? I'm gonna take a bit of a detour this week, and we talk about movies we've been watching or TV shows, but I have been listening the shit out of this album by this metal band called Volumes. And if you're into like, I know this, yeah, I know, but seriously, man, these guys fucking rock. If you're into like Linkin Park or Periphery, or they just got a really good pop metal sound, and I am loving this. Yeah.
This is
I
going
just
to
have
be
give 'em a
bizarre
shout.
for anyone that came to this podcast from movies and TV shows.
I have to just give him a shout out on this.
Just
But
wait till I say mine.
But as well with that, I have been watching Buffy with Ash, my fiance, and we're having a great time. It's such a well written show. You really connect with all the characters. It's a lot of fun.
Let's get on to the big news week, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Roll
Are
them
you sure,
up.
are you sure there's nothing else you guys want to add? Anything you've seen?
Any filler you have?
No more hype? Okay.
I made some amazing cheeseburgers this week. And they were
Jordy make those
delicious.
cheeseburgers?
Geordie taught me how to make them,
Okay.
and I made them.
Nice.
Very
All
nice.
right. Well done.
Thank you, Geordie.
Yeah. Shout
You're
out
a
to
good
Jordy for
friend.
those them burger skills.
We'll give you the recipe later on in the episode.
Yeah.
If we need more time.
Yeah, it's a secret recipe.
All right. Let's get into the
sorry.
top 8. We've delayed it as long as we can. All right, number 1. We've got some news on the new X-Men film, Dark Phoenix. So Fox has come out and said that we're going to get Simon Kinberg to helm this. They've confirmed that now. They've also confirmed that Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, they'll all be back into this one. And there's even talks about getting Jessica Chastain into there as well.
Man, they must have thrown some dollars at Jennifer Lawrence because she just phoned it in.
How do they keep getting any of these people back? It still blows my mind that there's like a movie franchise, like a shitty one at that has Jennifer Lawrence, Fassbender, and McAvoy in it.
But they just don't seem to own it.
I reckon this is their paychecks. They can go and do all the kind of the projects that they want to
Yeah.
do, that they're passionate about, and then they get that sweet Fox money.
$20 million
Oh, fuck yeah.
paycheck.
And they're just like,
McAvoy
thank you very
does
much.
a great job. So does Fassbender.
Yeah.
Like they're at least giving it their all.
Well, except that bit in the forest in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
There's,
With the
I
family.
have shut out Apocalypse
With the
from my
family.
memory,
With
from my mind, from
Fassbender.
everything.
And
So Simon
everything.
Kinberg, he's a long-time producer of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's done some writing as well as producing. So he is, completely engrossed into this series, like back from like X2, I think. So he obviously knows the universe inside out, or at least this, movie universe inside out. As to whether that's a good thing or not, I think will remain to be seen. I mean, we've always mentioned this about this franchise, is that it is so hit and miss. It's some of them are so good. Like Days of Future Past, I love that film.
Logan.
I mean, Logan.
And then
but
you
there
get
are some
Last Stand, Apocalypse.
absolute turds in there. It's shocking.
Okay, so this is his directorial debut.
Yeah.
He's mostly been a writer in his career. He's written Triple X, State of the Union.
Oh,
Cool.
man. Hell
he wrote
yeah.
X-Men: The Last Stand,
Oh.
but he also wrote X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Okay.
But he also wrote the most recent Fantastic Four and X-Men: Apocalypse. So, so
That's such a confusing,
a storied career. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense that he wants to take the helm and be a director, and it
Does
makes
it?
sense. Yeah, it does because
He's
Look
had
at-
some bad movies out there, and he hasn't been
But look how
fired
many
yet,
films
so-
look how many films he's been in, been involved with. Like,
But look
it
at
makes
what
sense.
films he's been involved with.
Yeah, but they've made money. There's no way they haven't made money.
This is.
So you're saying, are you guys arguing with me to say that the fact that this guy is being a director is weird?
No. I'm not arguing with it at all.
Huh?
No. I'm just saying, like,
all right, there we go. So let's move on.
I don't know whether his involvement with the franchise so far is necessarily a strength or a weakness.
That's a completely different question.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't think these movies really need directors at this point. Like these big studio things.
Yeah,
they never get any like.
First AD says, or the assistant says action anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he's probably just off in his trailer and not really directing anyways. Anyway, I'm just going to assume this movie is going to be the worst X-Men movie yet until anything says otherwise.
God, that's so depressing.
Yeah.
Well, their last movie was a hit, so that means that this one has to be bad.
Wasn't
Logan?
Oh, right. But the last
certainly not Apocalypse.
No, yeah, just in terms of the actual X-Men movies, the last one was, I think, the worst X-Men movie, and I don't see any. It doesn't seem like they're changing course at all from that direction. So
yeah,
fuck
it's
it all.
Not
Burn
like
it
they
to
don't
the
have
ground. Dark Phoenix, burn it to the ground.
Yeah, finish this, man.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Well, we can finish this segment. Let's go on to number 2. Kevin Feige has come out and made a couple of comments about the MCU. So we just all condense it into one.
Feige talks and everyone listens.
Why wouldn't you?
Bow to Feige.
We keep talking about this. I reckon he's just talking out of his ass. Like he's just at this point.
We talk about Feige more than any of like the main movie stars.
Why wouldn't we? Like this guy is helming the biggest movie franchise in the world right now. Like, all right. So the first comment that he made was about the new Venom film. He has confirmed that it is not part of the MCU. It's nothing surprising. But it is nice to get a little bit of confirmation to see that now if it fails, it's going to be Sony. They're not staking their reputation on it. He hasn't said that that Venom will never feature in the MCU, and I think Marvel has always been really good about never backing themselves into a corner. Saying someday if we own the property, fuck it, we'll do it right.
If it's good enough, if it's up to our level.
Yeah.
He really hasn't said anything here that I think tells us one way or the other what's happening with this movie. Like. He said it's not part of the MCU, but I don't feel like that necessarily means it's not part of the Spider-Man world. Like maybe it's just there's no connection to the MCU. Like it's not going to be one way or the other. Like it could very easily retroactively fit into the MCU if they decide they wanted to, or it's just not going to explicitly mention anything. Maybe there'll be some Spider-Man stuff, but not the other MCU stuff.
That would legitimately blow my mind because it would just make this web that Marvel and now Sony has cast just the most confusing fucking thing in the world. I can't keep track of it as it is.
That is true.
This
Listen, this is very bad news. Very, very bad news because Marvel needs this Venom thing.
Oh yeah,
they need it.
Yeah.
The problem here is that the MCU is built around PG-13 or M-rated films, and Venom is going to be MAR-rated. It's going to be more adult. It's going to be more in that Deadpool, Logan kind of style, and retroactively fitting into the MCU. I don't know if it's going to. I don't think it's going to work.
The MCU's hit the R rating before though with the Netflix stuff, and I think that fits well enough.
But so many times, like those two, they never gel, and there's almost like different agendas at stake.
But it is still all the MCU.
Yeah. It is,
and I like that it's broad enough that you can have stuff.
But there is a divide there, and there's a divide in the people involved with creating the shows.
Yeah, totally.
But it's interesting that you said that because one of the other comments from Kevin Feige is that they're not ruling out in the future having, as part of the MCU, like the cinematic, the movies, having an R-rated film. So I can't imagine it'll be in phase 3, but maybe somewhere in phase 4 that comes into play.
No, the comment here was definitely no, we're not doing R-rated movies. Like it was very much, I'm not going to say we're ruling it out completely, but we don't have any plans or anything. Like it's not something that's going to happen. I think
I don't think it's going to happen.
Like as you said, they don't want to back themselves into a corner, and Kevin Feige will never say anything that will back them into a corner. You know? He's like, we're not doing it now. Maybe we could, but we're not. But we could. And it's like, okay, fine, you're not doing it. It's cool to say it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's a possibility.
I think they've got a winning formula.
I think you might be right, George. I think they're on
the
something.
stats are showing.
We've just gotten the box office numbers in.
But I have to imagine that they're smart enough to know that there will be a point where that formula doesn't work anymore. Like it's just they can't create these kinds of films from now until
they're gradually adjusting. I think people don't give Marvel enough credit. If you look at Iron Man versus Doctor Strange or something that's come out recently, it's evolved. It's different. They've fine-tuned, and they're always going to be readjusting the template.
Yeah, but that's very much my point. So we don't know how those adjustments will go in the future. So we might look back and think, how silly was it that
they
we
want
thought...
mass appeal.
They do, yeah. And it's true. But as you said, the Netflix Marvel series are R-rated, and they're massively popular.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, we're on the 6th shitty exact same Transformers movie that's going to make $1 billion, or the 5th, whatever it is, who cares? So maybe they don't need to change it all.
Yep.
Maybe they could just keep pumping out this stuff and it'll keep being successful.
Just as a little segue from this, did you guys see John Landis's comments about the MCU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the director of
Old
American,
Man Yells at the Sea.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London, John Landis was like, just saying how Marvel's churning out the same thing. And he started the whole skyscraper. He talks a lot about falling, tumbling skyscrapers. And I feel like Marvel have been fairly good recently. I thought Doctor Strange, there was some crumbling buildings, but it was done with all the whole reverse thing, which was really cool. Guardians didn't really do that.
They blew up a planet. But
it was,
Civil War was a very personal kind of fight at the end of it.
Yeah, and the airport scene was like, planes crashing and burning. So,
I don't think his point
that's
was...
not a skyscraper,
I don't think his point was invalid. I think it was just 2 years late.
Yep.
I think it's very much an old director who has not made anything in a long time. It's like, what are the kids talking about these days? Oh, no, I'll say something about the MCU, then they'll print some news stories about me. Good on you. You made some good films a long time ago, pal.
His son
Ben just calling him out.
I mean, come on. Some of these old directors, they try and pipe up every now and then. It's like, no one, shut up about the MCU. Just make a movie. Make some movies. Do that.
And his son, Max Landis, who I think is pretty cool, is doing a remake of
Very
American
divisive
Werewolf in London. Yeah, I love how divisive he is.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yeah.
I like most of his stuff too. Yeah. That Frankenstein movie was terrible.
Was that Victor Frankenstein?
Yeah. It was real bad. I liked American Ultra though. I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
American Ultra was fun. I didn't even bother seeing the Frankenstein one.
I watched it on a plane, and even on a plane, like it was a very plain movie, and even on a plane, I was like, oh, should I turn this off?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have for...
No rivalry.
Another comment that Kevin Feige made was that he doesn't see any rivalry between DC and Marvel.
Bullshit.
I don't know whether...
DC sucks. Fuck those guys.
I mean, of course he's going to be magnanimous.
Yeah.
He's the guy at the top. It's like, no, we don't mind those poor little guys in the gutter.
But he's come out and he's congratulated Wonder Woman. And to be honest, this is what I would actually love to see. More of this. More of like them not... I don't think it has to be Marvel versus DC. I think it could very much be... and we mentioned this in our Wonder Woman review. I would love to see two fantastic shared universes that give us, different... tonally that are different.
Yep.
That give us different content. But that are both good, and I think it's possible.
I completely agree. We should all get along. That's what these stupid DC fanboys don't get. I kid. Send your hate mail to Connor.
Man, I don't even know who these companies are, let alone... No, I do. Okay. And the last little piece of news from Kevin Feige is that they have no plans whatsoever in the MCU for Fantastic Four. I can't say that that's a huge disappointment for anyone.
Fantastic Four, I feel like, is a concept that really needs an amazing person to interpret that, because that's a tough one. In 2017 and beyond, that is a tough one to get right.
It's so rooted in the 1960s aesthetic and culture and stuff. Movie Bob, I don't know if you guys know him. He's a film critic. He does a lot of cool stuff. He recently did a couple of videos on how you should adapt Fantastic Four nowadays, or how you should adapt them into the MCU, and it really got me interested into the idea. I doubt that's probably what they do though, but not a surprise that they're not doing it. That's shelved for a while. I think put that one away for 10 years or so. Save it for when they've used up everything else.
They tried it didn't work.
They tried it again. It worked much less.
I thought as I've said many times in this podcast, I thought the first half of Fantastic Four was actually brilliant. Maybe let me rewatch it again. But I was so impressed, and it was a crushing second half.
It was the worst.
It was crushing.
Yeah.
Maybe that made me like the first half more.
By comparison.
Yeah.
Remember when that first half happened? How good was that?
Yeah, exactly. Josh Trank. then he rage quit.
Rage quit
the
life,
world.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm done. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Feige at any point is about 2 seconds away from that. Just being like, I fuck it. I quit. This
Really?
is bullshit.
Yeah.
Imagine how much stress that guy's under.
Everyone walks and it's like, Kevin, tell us
That would almost. Can you imagine having
Walking
that
around like
much?
Jesus, just touching their hand.
Imagine having that
child.
much pressure. Just be like, tell us what to do next. I'm like, I can't. I don't know.
He probably is a superhero in of himself, and he's just like, I know how this shit works.
All right, moving on. Number 3. So there's a rumor that's come out this week that Tom Cruise, or about Tom Cruise, sorry, the recent Mummy movie has been absolutely savaged by critics, and
Including the podcast Strikes Back.
yeah, we weren't too kind to it either.
Go check out our review, by the way, right now.
Maybe we did, maybe we
It
didn't.
might surprise you.
Anyways, there's a rumor come out that the reason that it was so kind of shitty, essentially, is because Tom Cruise took creative control.
How slack is that, eh?
I feel like that's
the reason why the film sucked was Tom Cruise was creatively involved.
The hate agenda against this movie is really interesting, and it makes me wonder like what the relationship is between all these news outlets and Universal or something, because there's been such a strong push to make this movie look worse than it is. Like, everyone's, the Rotten Tomatoes score is crazy low. Most of the reviews are fairly average though. But everyone's reporting headlines of, the worst Tom Cruise movie ever made. And they're saying it's, bombing like crazy. It is Tom Cruise's best global opening ever.
Wow.
180 million, which I don't know how much he usually opens on, but it's his best ever.
But
the headlines are all
Completely
saying,
because-
really tepid opening in the States.
Well, that's because that's the difference. His global opening is huge
Yeah.
because of overseas box office performance,
And that was part
not
of-
because of domestic.
Yeah, but Hollywood's a global market now. Like so many movies are saved, like 70% they get their money from
Pacific
China
Rim.
and stuff.
Pacific Rim was a classic example. Of
Getting a
that.
sequel now, and that did not do well at all.
But that was one of the things that came up in the rumors was how Tom Cruise wasn't really a good fit for Tom Cruise, this role, but they wanted to get that global market. So they cast Tom Cruise, and then that character had way less screen time than the Mummy, evidently. And then he kind of came in and wrote his character to be much more of a typical Tom Cruise kind of role. And really manhandled the project. That's what these rumors are saying. And what was interesting is we talked about it last week was the scene, behind the scenes scene with Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise in the library.
With the candlestick.
Yeah. But doing, shooting that fight scene in the film. And Tom Cruise is really...
He's dictating what's going on.
Dictating. And that's what people have been saying. Alex Kurtzman, this was one of his first films. He didn't have the chops to handle the scale of this. Tom Cruise took ownership of all the stunts, all of this, all of that, and really owned the film.
But stunts aren't what made this film lacking. I think with his experience, he's probably the best one to take control of those kind of stunts.
Definitely.
So that didn't surprise me, nor does it concern me. What concerns me is about the amount of creative control overall that he's, again, supposedly was given.
I don't know how much I buy this. I mean, I'm sure he was a producer on the film. I'm sure he had a lot of input as, a giant star, the biggest name attached to this whole thing.
Yeah.
I just this idea that, the main character, which his character is and always would have been, didn't have as much screen time. And it was more about the Mummy. Like, bullshit.
That was really weird.
The Mummy's the villain in the piece. I doubt this ever started as like a Mummy character piece. Like this, all of these just sound so slanderous.
It does, which makes...
That was the one element that I thought was a bit weird, but I think the other elements, him taking ownership and helping Alex Kurtzman.
Tom Cruise has been on such a roll, and it seems like people have just taken this first opportunity to just jump right back on him again.
Tall poppy syndrome. You see someone get that successful,
poppy.
and you're ready to just fucking tear them down as soon as they get too big.
Yeah.
Look, this is... the only thing that makes me think that it's entirely possible is I think that he is such like a big swinging dick in Hollywood that he could pull this off. If he was attached to a name and said, I will be in this, I will get you that global market, but I want X, Y, and Z, they do it. Who the fuck's gonna fuck with Tom Cruise? It's the same thing. We mentioned this the other day. I can't remember who it was, but like, you don't fuck with people like Scorsese because they're so embedded in that industry that you'd be like, nah, I'm just gonna let him do what he does.
I just can't even imagine the version of this movie that wasn't manhandled by Tom Cruise, and I'm not convinced that it would have been significantly better than what we got.
Definitely
so
not.
I just don't see the story here. Other
Can you
than everyone wanting to
imagine-
hate on this movie so
Imagine if they'd cast some no name in this,
much.
and it had just been.
But there's a big difference between casting a no name and casting like Tom Cruise. Those are like two very opposite sides of the spectrum. Like if you think about it, talking about shared universes, you have to talk about MCU. If you think about casting someone like Robert Downey Jr. in those kind of early movies as your starting movie,
That was a gamble, man.
That's a
especially at
massive
that
gamble.
time.
He's not known, but he's also not a huge movie star. Like,
But
he is very middling.
He also had a lot of PR problems with his.
He was a big movie star like a decade before Iron Man, and then a lot of legal problems, drug issues,
drug problems. Yeah. So he kind of had a.
Funnily enough, Tom
negative-
Cruise was up for the role of Iron Man in that film.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, not really. funny
I'd
little
prefer not to.
short little Iron Man suit.
But do you guys
Actually, I
think The
think they're about
Mummy
the
would
same
have been better without Tom Cruise?
I do.
It's too hard to say.
Let's say swap him out for
Is another one of George's
Brendan
hypotheticals.
Fraser.
no, not Brendan Fraser. Fucking Peter Quill,
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Swap him out for
Chris
Star-Lord.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
No, I'm getting
Um,
sick of him.
Yeah, look, it's
But that
it's
you
hard
know
to
what
say,
that
yeah.
that more like quippy, funny dude. Like Tom
But
Cruise isn't a funny dude.
I feel like
He's an action star.
this was one of the problems I had with the film that we talked about in the review. Go check it out.
I like
was
it.
yeah was that I don't think that his character, like the Tom Cruise character, fits the character from The Mummy. Like you watch him, you think I'm watching Tom Cruise in a film. And it's the same thing with any big name actor. Like you watch Leonardo DiCaprio, you watch like Jack Nicholson, like any of those big names, you see that person playing a character. And I don't think that, to be honest, I don't think it was really well cast. Would have it made it an amazing film? I don't know.
Do you reckon it would have won an Oscar?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Best Picture?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Put the money on the table. It probably would have. There's just too much we don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm fascinated by here is this hate campaign against this movie. I don't know why everyone wants to shut it down so much. It's like everyone is so against shared universes, even though we have two. One of them's not good, but one of them's really good. So I don't really know where the feeling is coming from.
I think the next movie...
Maybe it's Disney, isn't it? They're behind all this. They want to shut down any other...
Ooh.
Entirely possible.
Any
They're
other
big
shared
enough that they could
universe.
do it.
Yeah.
Tear him down.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 4 to another massive franchise. So the Transformers franchise. There's been a rumor circulating about one of the planned spin-offs, and that is that it will be set in ancient Rome.
Fuck! Kill me!
Yeah, let's go to George's rant corner.
It's already dead. Just let it die. This, you know what this reminds me of? We talked about this on a previous podcast. Was taking the Gladiator for a sequel and doing like time traveling through, it feels that level of absurdity.
I just can't wait until the whole franchise is said and done, the 20 movie Transformers franchise, and there's just like one for every historical period of Earth, and what the the Transformers role was in it. Every one of these movies so far has like gone back into history and been like, the Transformers were there with some magical item. And I hate this franchise so much.
I just can't believe it that they're doing this. I just can't. I'm so
We shouldn't
not
act so
into
surprised. It's like, big movie execs enjoy money. What?
But
If
you know
only we
what?
had
You know
known.
Why do they keep making money?
Just going on your train of thought, like once this 20 movie series is done and just seeing that box set of 20 Blu-rays or Red Rays or whatever the fuck they are on your
Brain Rays.
iTunes and just seeing these shittest films and thinking, wow, so much time, so much effort.
So much money.
And what came out? Just nothing. Just empty, vacuous, computer-generated stuff. And Shia LaBeouf in 3 of them.
If they ever make...
By comparison, he doesn't look so bad now.
No.
Yeah, by comparison, like where we are now, I would like, I said, well done. Well done for getting out when he did.
Transformers 1 is like
It's
Citizen Kane compared to the last one. in comparison, if you put it on the scale of the Transformers scale of shit to...
I think there's like a 2% window of quality that they all operate within.
Yeah.
Like they're all on the same.
You know what I like about the first one is just the simplicity of the story of like a kid gets his first car and it turns out to be Bumblebee. I think that hook just helps the film somehow. I don't want to watch it.
We'll watch it again. We'll do a retro review on all three.
I'm quitting. I'm quitting this podcast.
We'll do the red letter meter and watch all 4 of them at once.
Oh my God, that was such a good video. And it's so funny how much they line up.
Well, doesn't he reuse shots? Like literally reuses shots from his other films. So, but yeah, we're kind of like halfway through this franchise right now. They've announced like another 17 films or something. Like it's something absurd like that. Some of them are going to be prequels. Sorry, it's 14 prequels / sequels, spin-offs.
Look, I'm not an advocate for piracy, but if you need to watch these Transformers movies, don't pay for them, please. Send a message.
Yeah.
Just steal that shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm caught in between wanting to see how bad it is and also not wanting to give them any money.
You know how bad it is.
I know, but it's like a train
This
wreck.
new one looks sick, though.
They always get you with that last trailer.
They've got this one right, I think, probably. Anthony Hopkins just lends so much gravitas.
Fuck. Anthony Hopkins, he's like, I love money. I just love money.
I will give you.
I'll do 10 movies. Let's go.
I will give you a ray of hope. The prequel, the only one that's been confirmed, is the Bumblebee one set in the 1980s. It is directed by Travis Knight, who did Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a sick film.
Yes. One of my favorites from last year.
Yeah. So that is my little ray of hope that maybe they can get in a good director that has, done something not even just successful, but just cool. Something that I really genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah.
And apply a bit of that to this monstrosity of a franchise.
No, I think this is even more depressing. This is just another good director who's going to go under the machine.
Or that.
Nice,
you never know.
It's nice knowing you, Travis.
I don't know. Like, we have never seen a Transformers film that hasn't been done under Michael Bay's guys.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, he'll still have his stamp on that.
Well,
He'll almost certainly still produce it.
I hope not.
Well, look, he's leaving. He's not directing another one after this one.
I doubt it.
Once again, Michael Bay has said he's not going to come back for the next one.
The third movie, he said, I'm done. This is my trilogy. I wrapped it up. I'm not coming back. Came back for the fourth one. During that, he's like, no, I've gone further than anyone's ever gone.
Yep.
4 amazing movies. And he said that was his last one. Here he is for the 5th one, saying he's not coming back for a 6th.
Do you reckon that he's just a robot? Like the executives have actually just replaced him with a robot? That's probably what happened at that Samsung conference when he just flipped out.
Oh, that was so good.
He just had this nervous breakdown. They're like, no, we can't have this again. Let's just replace him.
Oh, God.
I reckon all these creatives that are successful in their field are what they are. So Kevin Feige's a superhero. Michael Bay's a transformer. Steven Spielberg's a dinosaur.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. We're gonna, but this will put money in their pockets, and
I'm gonna be like,
we're gonna help them do it.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be 1% stupider after coming out of number 5. Transformers,
but feel 5% smarter.
Why?
By comparison.
Why? Because
you just watch something so inanely stupid that you're like,
I'm better than that.
Yeah.
What's the new one called? Dark of the Towers.
The Last Night.
The Last Night.
Knight.
The Last Night. That's probably what were the other ones? Age of Extinction.
Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon. The second one.
The second one?
What is the second one?
I don't even care, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
That's the one that I can't stand.
I can't even remember what it was about.
Pyramids.
Oh, right.
That one, Revenge of the Fallen.
Revenge of the Fallen. I just don't know how anyone could single out any of these Transformers movies as being better or worse than the rest. It's such a blur of... I kind of think they're getting worse in a little way as well. I think the first one probably had the most impressive special effects, at least. Like the transforming was actually transforming. Now they're just like morph
really quickly.
They kind of go into a ball,
Yeah, like a weird blur. Like even ILM has given up.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. They always bring their A game, but...
You know what?
This is how they get their interns to cut their teeth.
We can't do it anymore.
It's all presets now.
All right, moving on. Number 5. Sony is in trouble. So they
Naughty Sony.
is this really that new?
Sony's always in trouble.
So they got in a little bit of trouble for releasing unauthorized altered films. So I think they released going to release a couple of Seth Rogen's and Apatow's films.
They were going to clone Seth Rogen and release 2 Seth Rogens out to the world.
Yeah, so they've announced a list of like 20 movies that they're releasing clean versions of for the whole family to watch.
Yeah.
As if they haven't already been doing this though, like all those cable TV movies.
But that's the thing. These are pre-existing.
This is a thing.
Censored versions. These are just the airline versions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't crazy new, but a bunch of creatives have gotten up.
Yeah, it's more that they've. I think they gave their consent to have them for certain mediums, and I think Sony is now trying to like mass distribute these,
right.
Which is what the directors are like. Nah, we won't be having any of that.
Well, you know what? If there's an option,
I should have
that's
researched
fine.
this more.
That's the thing. They're coming with the original versions. Like
exactly.
It's just an optional thing.
Just turn it off. Turn it on.
See, I kind of give a bit of credence to their reaction because I think there's some mediums where it's a necessity and you just have to go with the flow and be like, all right, we'll censor it.
If I go buy a version of Deadpool, I should be able to have both versions on that disc.
But that's not Deadpool. Like it's
not Deadpool. It's not the final vision of the creative. It's not the final voice.
Yeah.
But it's a business. They need to make money. They need to hit a bigger audience.
Sony does need to make money.
I think there's a happy medium. And so that's what I said. Like there's some channels that are just necessary. You have to have that clean version for like airplanes, for example. But if I've gone out and I've made something and people can just get this different version that I haven't approved, that I don't maybe even like, then yeah, of course I'm going to be pissed off. Yeah. I'm not going to want that to go out there. That's not what I made.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see it. But I just feel like this has been happening for a long time. And as long as the original version is out there, hey, so be it.
I think I'm right in the middle of you too. I just want to ignore that these even exist. Like I hate the idea of those airline versions, and the idea of having to watch them is terrifying. And I hate the idea that there's like families out there that watch these clean versions of movies. Like I don't like the idea of these Flanderses out there, you know. So, like I remember watching Predator when I was 10 or whatever. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like what an impact that made for better or worse.
Can you imagine what a snowflake family movie night that would be? Like, fuck me.
Like watching a Predator, Seth Rogen film. The G-rated version of Predator.
Yeah. You know what, parents? Be fucking parents. Like just maybe wait another couple years before you show your kids Seth Rogen films.
But that's the thing. They've done it to movies like Spider-Man. Like they've made like the clean version of Spider-Man. So there's kids out there who won't be watching the version of all of them, all 5.
What?
So
is the clean version of the Amazing Spider-Man just like a blank slate?
I fucking hope so. So there's like edited versions of those movies. So you can't. So these poor kids out there somewhere won't even be seeing like the Sam Raimi proper version.
They just crop all the shots of Emma Stone in that little skirt.
It's like
no,
what's
kids,
even missing?
You ain't going to see that.
So the edited version of Step Brothers, they've done one of Step Brothers for God's sake. They've only taken out 5 minutes of it, but they've cut out like 300 instances of swearing and 150 bits of violence.
Yeah. How unfunny would that film be?
What would the movie be after that? Yeah,
that would be so shit. Listen, it's not.
When I
say this has been going on and this is just part of the thing, that's not me saying I'm not against this. Like censorship's bullshit. I think
fight the man. I gotcha.
Yeah, no, I think these companies, they need to make money, but are they sticking their foot in it by doing this? I don't know. But if I was to watch Step Brothers, a G-rated or a PG-rated version of Step Brothers, God, it would be so diluted down that what's even the point?
Yeah.
What happens to Boats and Hoes? It's just boats.
Jeez.
God.
Boats.
I wonder. I'm actually fascinated.
We should sit down and watch the Step Brothers one.
Yeah. Let's get hammered and watch that.
Yeah. I'm down. Yeah, look, I think people just need to be responsible with what they're showing their kids. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with video games. People coming out and complaining about violent video games. Just don't buy your kids violent video games. It's not fucking hard.
Yeah. Come on, parents.
Responsible
adults. We've got heaps of experience on this.
Speaking of violent video games, what's the next story?
Oh, nice segue, bud. Well done. Number
get a cookie
6 in
now?
our list. Both Duke Nukem and Borderlands movies are in the works now. So the Borderlands movie had been announced, I think, last year, but the new edition is Duke Nukem. This is a story that when I first heard it, I did what I always do when I hear this kind of story, which is go, awesome, I'd love to see those properties in movies. And then immediately remember that they were video games and that more than likely these will be shit
Yeah.
when they go into
I think Duke
film.
Nukem is prime for a movie, though.
I completely disagree. I think Duke
I'm with Ben
Nukem
on
is
this.
so stupid.
It is so
And
stupid.
it works.
It would be fucking awesome.
It works as a crappy parody of action tropes in
Yeah.
the 90s or something. What would you do with a movie of it?
You'd have to keep that stupidness, like it's almost like heavy metal or something. It's like
It's
like
so
a
stupid,
Arnie
though.
movie with
But Arnie
heavy
movies
metal.
are parodies of themselves.
Yeah,
I don't know
you'd
how
have
you
to.
could
But
even...
I'd love to see that. I think that'd be awesome.
You have to also think that
But it would have to be in that. It would have to be
Yeah.
so. They would have to really know what Duke Nukem's about, and it's about that parody of the '80s action movie.
this would be Duke Nukem is going to be a PR nightmare waiting to happen. Can you imagine? Like they'll either A, have to censor the shit out of it because those games are wildly sexist.
Yeah,
like just like
it's-
next level.
The marketplace has changed since Duke Nukem.
Yeah. And I mean, you can take the opinion that it's almost satire and a parody of itself, but you really have to have that mindset. Can you imagine trying to spin the PR on, why are we keeping it, why would we have this movie that is just wildly sexist? Or you censor it and then you lose that kind of base audience for...
That's the only angle I could think of him possibly taking is Duke Nukem finds himself in a world that no longer understands him and is just a ridiculous character that just doesn't make sense anymore because that's what he is.
Yeah,
That's maybe a way
like
it could
an
work.
extreme-
Like they'd have to get meta with it.
It's like a Johnny Bravo that kind of...
Yeah.
I guess because I played a little bit of Duke Nukem when I was a kid, and it was so different to anything else that was out there. It was unbelievably intriguing.
Look, it's a
like
video...
even like just seeing the like women in the way they were being portrayed. Like it was like, what is this? Just I shouldn't be playing this.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
naughty.
wrong. This is wrong, and this
It is wrong.
Yeah, but that's
I love that's just like the simplest
it
answer.
is.
Be like, you shouldn't be playing this. It
Yeah.
is wrong.
See, if that's the tagline of the film, maybe they'll be onto something. Like it's wrong. It's just so wrong.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think there's some interesting stuff at play with Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Duke Nukem Forever?
No, I
Was that the
didn't play
most
one.
recent one?
Was that
The one that was in development for like 15 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
finally
the-
came out and no one gave a shit anyway.
That's the one that came out and was just like it
It
was
bad.
past that time where that level of like sexism and just misogyny was just it not acceptable anymore, I guess. Not that it was ever really acceptable.
Even
but
on a gameplay level, it was such a kind of bygone era game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not
Yeah, it was like 3 years behind the
at least
5. Yeah,
so that's I am not holding my breath for that one. Borderlands, on the other hand,
yeah. Borderlands is a lot.
Borderlands has always
Mass
had its
appeal,
strength.
mass appeal.
Well, mass appeal, but it's also like its strength has always been the writing in the games, like that sense of humor and that just kind of bizarre game like storylines.
Borderlands is that cell shaded shooter, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
I
I didn't realize it. I thought it was just more multiplayer based. I didn't realize it was a story and
Oh, it's a
Story-based. And
massive
they
story.
also did a Telltale series on it. You know, the one that's do the Walking Dead kind of choose your own adventure
Yeah.
type ones. So very, very dialogue and character based.
okay.
They've done a whole bunch of those.
So I think that could work, but then again, it's a video game adaptation. Like
Yeah.
there's-
So as with every video adaptation, it's just going to be a crappy version of another movie. In this case, Mad Max, unfortunately.
Ugh.
But hey, maybe a crappy version of Mad Max will still be pretty good because Mad Max fucking rocks.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost a little bit crazier and goofier than Mad Max, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but I'd be willing to watch it.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
well,
we'll see.
maybe we should do a how to do video game movies Hollywood
just make one.
episode.
Let's just make a video game movie and become millionaires.
Frogger
Yeah.
the movie.
Frogger, hell yeah.
Just, let's get a green costume.
Well, they're doing Rampage.
Yeah.
Let's paint Connor green and
Wait, sorry, back up.
Throw him under the road.
throw on the road onto a highway.
Yeah.
So you'll be on one side, I'll be on the road. Like, come on,
Connor, left.
So getting back onto the story.
It'll be the first blockbuster snuff film.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's only 17 seconds long.
Yeah, that's the audio of the film. It's a sneak peek for you.
Just like shooting from up the window.
Oh,
It's gonna give me nightmares. So yeah, the fuck it.
fuck.
Let's move on.
Is this real life?
Yeah. Number 7. So Oak Studio, which is Neil Blomkamp's new project, has released their first short, Raka. I meant to watch it this week, but I didn't get a chance. I think the only one that's actually watched it out of us is Ben.
No, I lied about that.
Did you actually?
No, I'm kidding. I've seen it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, come on, like this is
Did you say oaks or oats?
Oats. Did I say Oaks?
You said Oaks. It was written in there as Oaks. I tried to change that quickly enough before you were reading it. I was like, because I heard you saying Oaks before, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was actually written as that. So I have watched the debut short film from Neil Blomkamp. It's weird. It's like three little chapters. I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. It's really a really cool kind of little sci-fi concept.
Does it look good?
It's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's Neil Blomkamp. Blomkamp.
Connor,
Of course, yeah.
Connor, relax.
Yeah, not so easy, is it?
Grindelwald.
What did I say? Grindelwald?
That's Grindelwald. You're like,
Grindelwald?
Grindelwald.
We're gonna start writing all the names wrong, and then you'll start saying them right.
I don't say them right anyways.
It was gorgeous. It was pretty esoteric. Like there was a heavy narration, but it still you couldn't really follow a story necessarily. It definitely doesn't wrap up like a one story. It seems like maybe this is something they're going to revisit.
Okay.
But yeah, it's cool. It's intriguing. It's got Sigourney Weaver in there. It's very Neil Blomkamp. It's got that District 9 violence going on.
Cool.
And yeah, the production value is fantastic for what is essentially a YouTube short.
Nice.
So yeah, bring on more stuff.
Is it just on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube and Steam. But
Okay.
yeah, it's on YouTube.
For free?
Free to watch.
Not YouTube Red or any kind of bullshit.
No, hell
like
no.
that?
If it was on YouTube Red, I would not have seen it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Check it out, boys.
Excellent.
So, is it off to a great start? Is it off to a good start? Is it off to a terrible start?
7.5 out of 10 start.
Is
It's off to.
Yeah.
Is it a buy it on Blu-rays immediately?
It's more of a
Why are we continuing to talk? You're just going to edit out of this.
just let Neil play with these little short films for a while, and then he can work up the courage to make another movie.
Poor guy.
It's definitely worth kind of checking out because it's free and on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
It just reaffirms that he is a good director. He knows how to do this shit.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, well, apparently not.
No,
then.
I mean, there's like as a short film, there's nothing to it. It's like a proof of concept almost. Like it's setting up something else.
Okay.
It's like a pilot episode of something, and not the kind of pilot that you actually air, but like the pilot that you make before you make the first episode.
Yeah, the one that you show a board of director.
Yeah.
But it's almost like damage control for him. It sounds like he's in a bit of a rut. It sounds like he's pretty down and out.
Emotional damage control. I think so. He's just doing this for him, which is cool.
I think he's like, listen, let me go back to basic. Let me just get a few shorts under my belt. Get a bit of PR going.
Yeah.
Make a bit of a song and dance about the whole project. Hey, it makes sense.
Hell
Good
yeah.
on him.
All right, moving on. Number 8. We had, I think this is the second or third Okja trailer. So Netflix's new, in some areas of the world, controversial film.
It's got a giant hippo in it.
Yeah. Well, we know some countries are
controversial,
very
yeah.
against giant hippos. It's a thing.
I won't have him.
Yeah.
I just won't.
Until I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't think I can watch because of the giant hippo. But this trailer has brought me around to giant hippos.
Hey!
It looks stunning, doesn't it?
Oh my Lord.
I'm so excited for this movie.
I'm so excited.
I watched the first trailer again recently as well, and I think this looks like something really special and something very different than what we get out of, the American directors that we're so used to.
It almost looks like a Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli kind of film. I don't know. It's got that really ethereal, otherworldly with the real world's fusion.
And it feels like there's some kind of dark undercurrent to it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the guy who made Snowpiercer, and talk about a dark undercurrent.
Wow.
And I think there's more to this movie than we're seeing in just these
no
trailers
doubt.
as well.
It's nice to see a trailer that doesn't give everything away. Like that Flatliners trailer. We'll talk about that in honorable mentions, but
Gives away pretty much the
just
entire plot of
gives
the
away
film.
the whole film.
Yeah.
And That's why I didn't want to put it in the top 8.
So I bet this is cool. This is coming to Netflix too, so we don't even have to leave the house to watch it.
Oh, man, I love not leaving the house ever.
Yeah.
You guys always come here. I never leave.
It's tough.
You only ever see me here.
Yeah. I'm going to start recording my own podcast at my house. You're
Yeah.
invited, Connor.
Thanks, bud.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to start recording my own podcast. George interviews George.
Yeah, look, it looks amazing. It kind of gave me a bit of nostalgia because all I was thinking about is Pete's Dragon, which I used to love as a kid. I don't know if either of you seen that. They recently did a remake that I didn't bother watching.
Which was apparently amazing.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Now I might have to go watch that.
Yeah,
It
that
just seemed to have
sick.
flown under the radar here.
Yeah.
I will give that a look then.
Maybe for next week.
Maybe for next week. Yeah. But yeah, so I have high hopes for this.
Me
I'm looking
too.
forward to it.
I'm sad that it's not going to be coming out in the cinema because I would love to see this on the big screen. But in saying that, I bought a nice TV recently, so I think I'll be okay.
You'll survive.
I hope so.
Just go closer to the screen and it'll give you the illusion that it's a bigger screen. Gotcha.
Just like 1 centimeter away.
Just lay your phone across your eyes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I always thought that
practically
was the
the
way
same.
to do it, but now that you guys told me, I'm well equipped to
Yeah.
to enjoy this.
We got your back. That's a top 8.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, yo.
You can see why we hyped it up so much. It's a news-packed week. On to the honorable mentions. You mentioned an honorable mention
Yeah,
just moments ago.
yeah,
The Flatliners trailer.
yeah.
It's the first I've seen of this film.
It's a remake of 1991's Flatliners.
It was just what everyone was asking for.
It's high demand.
Apparently, Kiefer Sutherland might actually be coming back in this one as well.
I'm sure he'll turn
really?
up.
Yeah.
He'll turn a corner. It'll be like,
Jesus.
This
that
kind of
professor.
This reminds me of kind of Lucy / that Johnny Depp film.
Oh, Transcendence.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Transcendence.
Yeah, I'm
type.
definitely getting that vibe.
Wally
film.
Pfister, what's up, mate? Where you at?
Yeah.
You're not bad mouthing Marvel movies anymore, are you?
Wally Pfister, man, he had the best gig in the world being Nolan's DP
Threw it all away.
through all his films up until Interstellar. And then went out and did Transcendence. God, you'd feel like a fool, wouldn't you?
These kind of like these,
We're hard on him.
Well, I don't know. We're calling out all these directors. Like, there's no hope for us in that film industry at all.
I feel like these like existential type films that are dealing with really kind of deep subject matters.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it, but they're such a gamble. Like it's such a hard thing to do to walk that kind of tightrope of how do I do this in a way that is both entertaining and meaningful.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool film for a remake, though, I guess, because it's not some stone cold classic that they're going to tarnish. It's a middling film with an interesting premise that no one really cares
Yeah,
about
it's not a
anymore.
Poltergeist. Like, why would you remake that?
Yeah.
That was stupid. This one, there's room for improvement.
Definitely.
I haven't seen the old Flatliners, so I might see that in preparation for this one.
Yeah.
Be interesting to check out. Another honorable mention is, I don't know about you guys, but I watched the first trailer for First Shot, which has, I never get this guy's name right, Nikolai
Coster-Waldau.
Waldo. There
Is
we
he
go.
the dude from Mama and Game of Thrones?
Yep.
Nikolai.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's good.
This trailer looks absolutely sick. This is something that I'm really interested in seeing. I don't know what else to really tell.
I've never heard of it, so
Yeah.
So what's the kind of concept?
The concepts, from what I can tell, is this guy has a car accident, gets put in prison, and it's that you go in as a good person, and then you're forced to become this criminal in order to survive, and you come out a criminal.
Right, okay.
So I love that idea, just in the concept in general. But also it just looks like a really well-made film, very gritty. I kind of got when I was watching a bit of Sicario type feel.
Okay, cool.
I am not saying that I think it'll be as good as Sicario. I think that's a very high bar to put out there.
Oh, no doubt.
But the general feeling of it is something that I got that it would be a very high tension film.
Yeah, cool.
Did you guys see the trailer for Happy Death Day?
No.
Oh, I saw it. not the actual trailer. I saw that it was there,
Yeah.
and then I didn't watch it.
It looks pretty fun. It's just Groundhog's Day, except
Oh, yes.
it's a day
I
of this
did see
girl's
that.
life. It's her
I did see
birthday.
that.
She gets murdered at the end of the day. She wakes up. It's the same
And
day.
every day it's, oh, go shorty, it's your birthday.
No, it's yeah. So she gets she just has to live the day she dies, gets murdered over and over and over again, which could be fun. And this is from Blumhouse, who just recently had Get Out.
Love it. But
Yeah.
I felt like I know the twist already.
Well, ruin it for us, George.
Yeah.
What is it?
Have either of you seen or even heard of the 2014 film Premature?
2014 Premature? Isn't it Predestination?
No. just the premise of this is essentially the same. It's Groundhog Day, except every time this kid jizzes, he goes back into the beginning of the day. Like he's done this cycle. It's
Every
like
time
Alan,
he jizzes.
Yeah.
So does it mean ejaculates?
Yeah, as in, yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Interesting.
It's not.
Who made that?
It was it had Alan Tudyk in it. Who actually made it? You'll have to give me a second. I'll find out.
I like this subgenre of Groundhog Day movies.
Well,
like they're all just Groundhog Day, and people always come out. It's like, oh, it's so unoriginal. I'm like, it's fine. It's an interesting concept.
It's an interesting
There's
concept.
no reason we can only have one movie. I mean, Edge of Tomorrow did great stuff with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Something interesting to think about Groundhog Day is in the original script they put in that he was actually stuck in for, I think it was like
10,000 years.
10,000 years or 15,000 years. It was something ridiculous like that. They also wanted to start the film like halfway through that process. So they wanted to start the film with just showing Bill Murray, kind of going through the day, knowing exactly what's happening, and you kind of wondering why, how does he know all this stuff, and then discovering that he's caught in this loop, which I thought would be really cool.
Yeah. But I love Groundhog Day. I do not touch that film.
Yeah, but
it's one of my absolute
that kind of
favorites.
knowledge and that kind of background information. I rewatched it and I loved it even more. Just knowing that it's a really cool.
That's cool. But I do like him discovering that he's in the loop and that whole part of the film.
Yes. So to get back to Premature, that stunning Oscar-nominated film.
Did you star in it, Connor?
Yeah. It's directed by Dan Beers, who we all know from that film.
The films that he
Octopus and FCU Fact Checker Unit.
Cool.
Holy shit.
Oh my Lord. Kill me.
That was worth the 2-minute wait.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got Alan Tudyk in it and no one
Stop
else.
talking about it. Let's move on.
Oh God, kill me.
We can
They must have
edit about
paid
half of that out.
Alan Tudyk must have just done a favor for somebody on that one.
Maybe it's really touching.
Yeah, maybe.
It is really touching.
Jesus. So we got a couple more honorable mentions.
One thing that one of the honorable mentions that we have is something that Alex Kurtman kind of alluded to this week, which was that Brendan Fraser, his version of the Mummy, actually exists within the same universe. I wanted to bring it up because we made I asked the question last week on the podcast whether they existed in the same universe, and now we have the answer.
And who cares? God damn it. Yeah, it was like an off-the-cuff remark. I don't know. It's amazing how much people care about the fucking Brendan Fraser Mummy nowadays.
It's bizarre,
a
right?
masterpiece now that this new one's come out, apparently. Everyone remembers it as the best thing from their childhood ever made.
Me out, man.
I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, I can't believe Brendan Fraser's not in this version of the Mummy. It's like, what the fuck? He hasn't been in a movie in 20 years.
They're like, we got to get some good PR out of this thing. So, Brendan Fraser's in there. Yeah.
It's in canon.
It's Fraser, sorry, isn't it? Not Fraser.
Fraser. It's Fraser.
Oh, it's Fraser.
Yeah, not like the sitcom.
Again, who cares?
Baby, I've been in it. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
But he's kind of making this comeback. It's this weird thing where he was in a TV show. I think it was called like The Affair or something, where people were like, "Holy shit, he's still alive."
Yeah. But it's
Like,
one of those
it was
situations.
literally it was like, oh well, I remember he was in a lot of movies that I enjoyed in the '90s when I was like 10 or whatever it was, and now he's gotten this kind of weird spike in popularity.
It's one of those situations where you don't see an actor for literally 10 years, and then you see him like, holy shit, they've aged. And they've aged fine, like they're actors, but you just haven't seen them in 10 years, and it's like, what happened? You look at your watch, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh well, good man.
I think that's it.
That's got to be it.
God. God, it's like I need to run away. Well, that was a bit of fun, breaking it down.
It was a little bit of
Spin
fun.
it around.
Cool bit of news.
But yeah, we'll be back next week for another episode of Top 8. Hopefully some shit drops. Otherwise,
Come on,
we're
Hollywood.
going to be out of a job. But always good to see you guys. Guys, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, George. You are welcome.
Thank you for having us, George.
No problem. It's been great. And Benny, thank you for getting me that present today.
No
It was
worries.
so kind of you.
Yeah.
You got you a present? Wait, what?
me a
We're back
present.
up.
Yeah. I didn't get one for Connor, so thanks for calling me out on that.
That is a very good point.
Everyone seems to be hanging out with me or giving me presents. I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting the best of everything.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, we got to wrap up the podcast.
We have some
gonna
things to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna have a discussion now.
I got to leave, actually. I got to get right out of here.
All right.
Bye.
Hello.